I admire simplicity in code, but some words seem so complicated, like destructuring, an evil word that adds simplicity to code bases. Let's define what it is. Destructuring, it's a way to extract values from objects or arrays and assign them to variables in a concise way. Let's say you have a basket full of fruits. This basket, for example, contains 3 apples, 2 bananas, and an orange. But you only want to take the apples from the basket and put them in a box. This is destructuring. We can take our example and apply it to JavaScript. And in JavaScript, we can destructure objects. Our basket will then be an object with the properties apple, banana, and orange. And each property represents the number of the type of fruit. What if we only care about the apples? Instead of accessing fruit.apple, we can extract it directly. So we create a constant and specify that inside the object, after the equal sign, we only want to take the apple property. By doing so, we tell JavaScript that our constant is named after the property name, which in this case is apple. But what if we wanted to store the value of the apple property inside a constant with a different name? To do so, we assign the property apple to a new constant name, just like when assigning a property in a JavaScript object. Like this, we create a constant in which we're taking the apple property inside our constant named number apples. This is pretty useful when working with big objects containing many properties which we don't want. We can also create default value. If a property is undefined, the value will be used. Imagine we want to take grapes from the basket, but they are not in the object. We can specify that if the property doesn't exist, it should default be 0. But it's important, if the property is undefined, the default value is used. However, if the property is null, for example, then null will be kept inside the constant. Destructuring isn't just for objects, it works with arrays too. Now, our basket is an array of strings containing fruits like apple, banana, and orange, like previously. We want to take and extract the first type of fruit from the array. So, after the equal sign, we specify that we are working with an array and we want to store the first item inside a constant, for example, first type. We can also extract multiple items at once, even if the array is smaller than the number of variables we declare. Since our fruit types array only contains 3 items, 4th and 5th will be undefined. But what if we only wanted the second item and not the first one? We can tell JavaScript to skip the first item and go directly to the second one using a comma, like this. With this comma, JavaScript knows that the first item is ignored, and this is pretty useful when working with APIs, for example. If we wanted to get a specific item and the rest as an array, we can. By doing so, using the rest operator as the last item from our constant, we'll get the rest as an array inside our constant. Just like with objects, we can assign default values in arrays if an item doesn't exist. Here, if there is no 4th item in the array, it will default to grape. Thank you for your attention.